The year 1995 was truly the year the Sega 32X took shape in our household. We loved the Sega 32X, flaws and all. But the story I want to tell you guys today is the story of how my Sega 32X became the focal point of an entire birthday party.
Whoa!
My 9th birthday in 1995 was all about the Sega 32X, and my mom and dad that day gifted me one of the most incredible surprises and the shock of my young 9-year-old life in the form of a Sega 32X game.
This might be a little trifle. It's an old game.
I was not expecting this at all.
Sega.
But first, a word about this video's sponsor, Encore. Back in the early 2000s, Dad loved surprising me with video games he found on eBay.
Well, tell me how rare this is.
Today, we have Encore, the place to learn about and shop for retro video games. Real collectors tell you about the games they're selling, and many actually show you gameplay footage in their video listings. If I had to describe Encore, I'd say it's like TikTok was combined with an online auction. It's a great alternative to live stream shopping, since you can look for cool games on your schedule whenever you want. Check out these retro Pokemon Game Boy auctions going for great prices. I might have to bid on a few of these. And now, if you buy multiple items from the same seller, the seller will bundle your order, and you'll receive a huge refund on shipping costs. Encore takes trust and safety seriously. All sellers are ID verified. The Encore guarantee protects you when your item comes not as described. Not only are sellers trustworthy, but they have fantastic customer service. Don't be surprised if you win an auction and the seller personally messages you to say thank you and let you know you're in good hands. There are so many great auctions live on the app right now, including this not-for-resale Sonic the Hedgehog copy, which would really complement my original Sonic the Hedgehog without the not-for-resale. Use my link to download Encore on the iOS and Android app stores to start winning deals on video games and consoles. Thank you, Encore, for sponsoring today's video. In the days, weeks, and months leading up to my birthday that year in 1995, my dad and I had truly gone mad with our love for video games.
You're playing a game that's not even out yet.
I know.
If you remember, Christmas 1994, the previous year, was all about Sega and Sega video games for every Sega console that we owned, which included the Sega Master System and the Sega CD.
I got King of the Monsters 1, and now I got King of the Monsters 2.
Pass me the wrapping paper.
Guys, we were Sega fanatics in these days, and that trickled into the next year. Our love did not diminish. The Sega 32X was all the rage, and we were looking forward to every new release that would come out on this new add-on console. This sort of stopgap between the Sega Genesis and the Sega Saturn, which was coming out later that year.
What do you say?
Sega!
It was slim pickings for a while. Seriously, the Sega 32X, even though there were great games on the console like Virtua Racing Deluxe and incredible arcade ports of Space Harrier and Afterburner, the system really lacked a game library that you could be proud of. But that didn't stop us from enjoying every game that came out on that console. I remember even games like Cosmic Carnage were lighting up the fire in our hearts for Sega 32X. And so going into that birthday, my 9th birthday, 1995, I can tell you guys, I was expecting my mom and dad to pick up right where they left off with Christmas and all of those amazing Sega games that I got. I knew that somewhere amongst the presents that they were going to give me that year, there had to be brand new Sega CD games, or if I was lucky, Sega 32X games.
Yep.
With all the hope in the world stored up in my young 9-year-old heart, I got up super early that morning in April of 1995, and my dad was right there with me, excited for what was going to come. My buddy Brian was spending the night that weekend helping me celebrate my birthday.
Open presents.
And man, guys, I gotta tell you, our minds were collectively blown that day.
What have we here? You guys are up early. Well, happy birthday, Tyler. 9 years old. What'd you get up early for? Open presents. Your friend Brian's over?
Oh.
Well, you have to wait for your
Oh,
mother
yeah.
to get up. It's 7 now. She'll be up by 8 in the evening.
What?
See what parents do for kids?
Only day to sleep late.
As you can see in this video, Mom was not exactly thrilled to be up this early in the morning. But Dad, on the other hand, was excited for what they were about to give me because he wanted to play these games too. And the first game I opened did not disappoint.
Alright, you can open a present from New York, you say?
Yes.
Which one? From who?
Manny,
It's not really his
Mikey,
birthday
and
today.
Michelle.
Manny,
But-
Mikey, and Aunt Michelle.
Uncle Mike.
Looks like a book.
Must be a Sega CD. I knew it. It's Purple Mail!
Thoughtful mail? Hey, Brian, like that, huh?
Yeah.
Man.
Popful Mail on the Sega CD. This game is one of the most amazing Sega CD games ever released. And here I am opening it on camera in 1995. I have so many memories with this console, but one of my greatest memories is of playing Popful Mail with my buddy Brian along for the ride and trying to beat it together with my dad. It was such a great experience, and this was the moment I got the game.
What do you say, Tyler?
Thank you, Michelle, Uncle Mike, and Manny and Mikey.
Well, who's next?
Kwame Gwampa. Always a perfect tear.
Maggie, you're going nuts. This has got to go out.
Road CD!
Kidding me? You got it?
Yeah!
Good old Road Rash on Sega CD. This was the very first Road Rash game I ever owned. Shortly after this, I would get Road Rash 3 on the Sega Genesis, and that's where I really fell in love with the Road Rash series. But Road Rash on the Sega CD was fantastic too. And man, guys, was this ever shaping up to be an amazing morning. Sega CD games, Road Rash and Popful Mail. Can't go wrong.
Oh, man.
Now we get to run over people as much as we want.
Thank
What do
you.
you say?
Thanks. Thank you.
Let's look
Love
at that.
you.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Master of war, who incited all man to rage eternally, who blackened the world with his foul magic.
It's one more little thing. Thought you might enjoy.
My family had this tradition of surprising me with video games and other presents that were tucked away and out of sight. It was an amazing tradition, and really these sort of like progressively more incredible surprises, they're what made my birthdays growing up just the most magical thing you can imagine.
This is just a little thing. Cheap game.
Okay. Oh yeah, a cheap game, huh? A cheap game!
Let me see.
Tempo. It's for 32X. Thank you.
Now we're talking. Tempo on the Sega 32X. This was a beautiful game, guys. I mean, the animation, the sprite work in this game is just phenomenal, and it really showed you what the Sega 32X could do with 2D sprite-based gameplay. I mean, that's what it was all about, really pushing the Sega Genesis to be something more.
Tyler, remember in the car I was singing that song? Tempo, check it out, it's on the game.
Oh, it is?
I tested the game and I heard that song in the car by accident. I started singing it.
It's so funny, my dad mentioning to me that he was singing the theme song to Tempo like days before my birthday, and I asked him at one point, like, what are you singing? What is this? And he made something up. He's like, oh, it's just a song that I heard. I remember this very clearly. And it's so funny him bringing it up to me. He's like, Tyler, remember that song I was singing? That was the theme song.
Tempo, check it out, it's on the game.
Dad would actually test these games. Before I would get these games on my birthday or Christmas, Dad made a point to test the games before giving them. Back then, we used to run into a lot of glitches and games that were defective. I mean, this was a word that we threw around a lot. Defective games, especially on the Sega CD. And man, it's really not something you hear a lot about these days, and people don't talk about the fact that you could run into a lot of defective software back then. And so Dad was very privy to all of that happening, and he would test these games out beforehand to make sure that I wasn't going to just throw on the game and all of a sudden it's broken, doesn't work. He was very good and very mindful of that.
Password.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Let's start, Tyler. Now grab that thing above your head. It's not floating. When you see this, man. Tyler, you're gonna die over there. Get off that thing. Go back. You're going the wrong way. You gotta go up.
Tempo. Incredible game, all well and good, right? But you're probably wondering, Tyler, what about the game that blew your minds? What about the game that shocked you to the core? You know, you said this was a 32X birthday. Well, as the day progressed, my mom came out with yet another incredible birthday surprise, and this surprise was one I would never forget for the rest of my life.
Tyler.
What? Oh my god! No! Oh god.
This might be, this a little trifle. It's an old game.
Okay. I don't care what it is.
Hope you like this one.
Yeah.
What is it?
Sega.
Sonic Chaotix!
Knuckles Chaotix. Oh my gosh, guys.
It's a Sonic Hedgehog game! Yes! You said it not going on May!
It's not. I don't know why it came out.
I remembered this reaction like it was yesterday. Seriously, guys, this was one of the greatest surprises I ever received as a kid. Coming off of a year where we had Sonic and Knuckles the previous year, and then before that, Sonic CD. I mean, Sega was just knocking it out of the park with these classic Sonic the Hedgehog games, and Knuckles Chaotix looked to be another beautiful entry into this series. I remember my heart dropping when I saw this. When I flipped that game around and I realized what it is, it just totally blew my mind because I thought the game was coming out in May. I had no idea it was out, and I even say so.
You said it not coming out in May!
It's not. I don't know why it came out.
But that's the amazing thing about Dad. He would often, on his way home from work, he would stop over at like EB Games or Babbage's, Toys R Us, just, make a stop and see what games were out. Because back then you didn't know when a game would just shadow drop. Oftentimes they were shadow dropped ahead of their proposed release date, and you would read these release dates in the magazines, and really it was just a sort of a guesstimate. It would give you an idea of when the game was going to drop. It wasn't gospel. It wasn't set in stone that game was going to be released that day. Sometimes retailers would release the game early. As soon as they got shipments in, they would just put it out. There really weren't a lot of strict rules back then. And this is where I benefited on this day. Dad just happened to be at the store, and there was Knuckles Chaotix. Crazy, guys. And really, if Dad hadn't have been that attentive, it wouldn't have been as magical a birthday. I mean, it would have been an amazing birthday that I would have loved and never forgotten. But on top of that, this was the cherry on top. A brand new Sonic the Hedgehog series game in the form of Knuckles and his first starring role. I was so excited. And then I started playing the game.
Chaos. Get some stuff. That gets me into good at chaos. I can pull you up.
When you start the game, you have the option of selecting two different characters. These brand new characters were created for this game as Knuckles' friends, the Chaotix characters. And you have to select two of them, and then you have like a sort of buddy system, a weird pulley system where this imaginary gravitational force between the two of you exists, and you sort of get flung around the screen like a rubber band. It's very odd, the gameplay, and you have to commend Sega for trying something new, but this definitely wasn't something that we were expecting or really hoping for. The game has its fans, and I'm one of them, but at the time, I can't say that I wasn't a little disappointed in Knuckles Chaotix. After receiving two amazing 32X games and Sega CD games, it was time for the rest of my friends to come over and celebrate my birthday.
Possible to avoid.
They showed up at my house, and the first thing I do is introduce them to the Sega 32X with Star Wars Arcade.
It's A. Whoa.
This was the first time a lot of my friends had been over and been able to see the Sega 32X in action, and so it was something I really enjoyed doing, was getting to introduce my friends to new games and new game consoles that maybe they hadn't heard of or seen before, because Dad and I were the enthusiasts. We were the experts, so to speak, on this stuff, and really I just wanted to share the love.
My chickens. They're in front of you. They're coming from here. I don't know where I'm going. Sorry. Better to stay up.
That birthday was really something else, guys. I feel like it was the most 90s birthday I ever had.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
Oh, man. Cool. X-Man vehicle.
Oh, dang. You don't.
And that's not just because of the Sega CD games or the Sega 32X games. it's also because of the movie that we went and saw later that day. My parents took me and my friends, and we saw a Goofy movie at the theater. And my dad even snuck in the video camera and filmed a little bit of the opening of a Goofy movie. I mean, guys, this was opening weekend too. Who has footage like this? I don't think anybody does. And it's very special to me that I do. And I get to share it with all of you. I mean, just the very fact that I get to share one of the most magical days of my childhood in such detail with all of you, that is a huge gift unto itself. My mom and dad were like the greatest gift givers ever. And I was so lucky that I grew up in the time that I did, in the family that I had, because I look back at this footage and I'm just amazed at all of the magic on display. It was such a wonderful childhood. And yeah, in the coming years after this birthday in particular, my family hit some hard times and there were a lot of struggles. You know, we struggled just like anybody else. But what I love holding on to and what I love really looking back at and shining a spotlight on were these days, these incredible days where everything was going right in my world. And it seemed like nothing could ever go wrong.
Happy birthday, dear Tyler. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, make a wish and blow out the candles.